Amelia, I've had enough of her husband. It's daylight, Amelia said in a tired voice. All night, she had endured her husband's closeness and longing, losing her courage. It was the first night of their marriage, hesitation and shyness had prevented her from fully refusing. After a long winter night, when the faint morning light filled the room, Amelia was exhausted and restless. She pleaded with Henry with helpless folded hands. Then he pulled back. His sleep-heavy eyes still melted into Amelia's innocence and beauty. Henry had turned over and fallen asleep. Amelia, too, slowly drifted off to sleep. Just then, there was a soft knock on the door. Henry was fast asleep, so Amelia had to wake up. With great difficulty, swaying in her sleep, she made her way to the door and said, "Mom, who's outside?" She heard Henry's breathing. "Son, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Your family is bringing shagun. You two should get ready and come." Amelia's heart sank. She'd only gotten 2 hours of sleep in the morning, and she had to get ready again. There was another knock on the door. She blinked, glancing at Henry, who was still fast asleep. Silently, she took her clothes and headed for the bathroom. After showering and getting ready, she came out to see that her family had arrived with shagun, gifts. Henry's mother-in-law said, "Son, wake Henry up. Your family has arrived." But Amelia was exhausted. The closeness and conversations of the night still lingered in her heart like fear. She hesitated again and again, but finally went into the room. It was already 11 o'clock. Amelia gently took Henry's hand and said, "Henry, quickly shower and get ready. My family has arrived too. Everyone is asking for breakfast." Opening her sleepy eyes, Henry saw Amelia's radiant face, and his heart fluttered again. He pulled Amelia into his arms and said softly, "I don't feel like leaving your side. That's why I don't like relatives. Husbands and wives just don't have time." Amelia panicked and said, "Please leave me alone, I have to go." After much pleading, Henry let her go and went to take a bath. As soon as he came out, he threw a towel at Amelia and said, "I'm going to have breakfast with my in-laws. You should take another bath and get ready. Tell everyone the reason." Amelia felt like crying right there. But she decided to quietly take another bath and get ready. This time, she covered her head tightly so no one would suspect anything. Then she went to have breakfast with everyone. During breakfast, Henry repeatedly beckoned her into the room, but Amelia was fed up. She sat with her mother-in-law and talked. Angrily, Henry went into the room and slammed the door shut. Her mother-in-law asked, "What's wrong with that?" Amelia said softly. I don't know why she didn't think it was appropriate to go into the room. The reception was in the evening. Amelia wore a gray-silver sari, in which she looked absolutely beautiful. Henry couldn't take his eyes off her. When they sat on the stage, he held her hand and whispered in her ear, "You won't be able to escape me today." Amelia felt dizzy. After a sleepless night and a day spent with family, she was completely exhausted. That night, Amelia's mother told Henry's mother-in-law that it's customary in their family to take the daughter to her parents' home the day after the wedding. The groom and his family bring her back the next day. Henry was stunned. No, we don't have such a custom here." Her mother-in-law placed her hand on hers and said, "Enough with it. We don't answer to elders. If that's the custom, then let Amelia go." Amelia also wanted to go with her mother and sleep peacefully. But the way Henry was looking at her clearly suggested that he himself should refuse. But Amelia didn't even look at him and left with her parents. As soon as she changed and lay down to sleep, Henry called. Amelia answered the phone. Henry said angrily, "What is this? Who does this to your family?" Amelia said softly, "Henry, it's a ritual." Henry snarled. "To hell with such rituals, I'm coming to pick you up." "You'll come home with me right now," Amelia said in surprise. "I was about to change everything and go to sleep." Henry shouted, "I don't want to hear anything. I'm coming. Quickly change into those clothes. Get ready exactly as you were at the reception. Wear the same jewelry. I'll see everything about you with my own hands, just like I did on the wedding night. Who are you? You're mine to change without my permission. You have no right to do anything without Amelia and me." Amelia's breath stopped. She panicked and said, "Please, not now. Henry, understand what I'm saying. My family will be worried." Henry growled, "I don't care who gets upset or offended. All I know is that you're my wife, and I want you in my room every night. You only have 15 minutes. Get ready in 15 minutes, just like you were at the reception. I signaled you to convince your mother, but you didn't even look at me. Don't I even matter to you?" After saying this, she hung up. Amelia was left wondering what to do. First, she took her mother into confidence and said, "Mom, Henry isn't feeling well. I'm going back with him today. I'll come back to stay some other time." Ranjana didn't object and said, "Okay." Amelia didn't feel right about wearing the reception dress again. But she packed all her things. Henry stopped the car outside the house and honked. He called and said, "Come out, I won't come in." Amelia took her reception dress and other belongings in her hands and came out. Seeing her, Henry frowned. He had the luggage placed in the back and made Amelia sit in the front seat. Then, angrily, he said, "Why aren't you ready? My words had no effect on you." Amelia said softly, "Henry, try to understand. What would Mom think if I went as a bride again? I've made up an excuse with great difficulty." Amelia thought she was finally free, but Henry said, "Go home and get ready just like you did at the reception." Amelia, exhausted, said, "Okay, I'll get ready, but you promise not to bother me too much. I haven't slept and I've been up since morning. My head is splitting. I'm so sleepy." Mischief danced in Henry's eyes. He said, "Let's go home, I'll put you to sleep. I'll put you to sleep very sweetly." Amelia's heart raced. When they arrived home, Sunena was already asleep. Amelia and Henry went to their room. Henry said, "Come on, get ready quickly." Amelia wore her reception sari again, applied makeup, and put on jewelry. As she began to pull her dupatta over her head, Henry came close to her. He placed his lips on her neck and resumed his advances. Amelia was exhausted. At 2 o'clock in the night she started crying. With folded hands she started pleading. "For God's sake, please stop it. Let me sleep." But it seemed as if Henry was possessed by passion. He was not ready to listen to anything. Amelia passed the whole night like this. By morning Henry was fast asleep. But Amelia was crying inconsolably. Pain started in her lower stomach. So intense that it was difficult to bear. She woke Henry up and said while shaking him, "Henry, it is very painful. I cannot bear it. Do something." Henry got scared. He saw that Amelia was writhing in pain with both her hands on her stomach. He said, "I'll call Mom." He quickly got up, put on his shirt, fixed his hair, and left the room. A short while later, Sunena came into the room, looking distraught. Amelia was still writhing in pain. Sunena couldn't understand what had happened. She told Henry to tell the driver to move the car. Henry went out. Sunena supported Amelia and brought her out. Upon arriving at the hospital, when the lady doctor examined her, she angrily said, "What has your son done to his wife? He has no idea. Amelia's internal organs were injured." The doctor said she needed to rest for a few days. Sunena was overcome with shame. As soon as Amelia emerged from the clinic, Henry asked what happened. But Sunena gave him an angry look and said, "You should know this. I'm not even fit to show my face. You've left me in shame." Henry understood and avoided her gaze. As soon as she got into the car, Amelia closed her eyes. She hadn't slept well for 2 days. She was in excruciating pain, and the doctor gave her injections and medication. When Henry started the car, Sunena said, "Drop Amelia at her parents' house. She'll rest there for 8 days." Henry refused, saying, "Mom can rest at home." But Sunena sternly said, "No, do what I say." Amelia silently thanked God. Sunena dropped Amelia at her parents' house and told Amelia's mother that even on the reception day, Henry hadn't told her to stay at her parents' house because of Henry. So, now she's been staying at Henry's house for 8 days. Amelia's mother was happy, but the pain was clearly visible on her daughter's face. Amelia didn't tell anything because Henry's mother had strictly instructed her not to complain to the family. I'll make Henry understand. He won't treat you like this again. But Amelia was afraid of Henry's closeness. For the first 2 days, Henry didn't talk to Amelia. He remained silent, and Amelia breathed a sigh of relief. But on the 3rd day, she suddenly got a call. Amelia was getting ready to sleep. As soon as she picked up the phone, Henry said irritably, "You've made a good excuse. What's the problem that you've gone to your parents' house?" Amelia's voice was trembling. "Didn't your mother tell you anything?" Henry laughed and said, "You're not an innocent girl. Everyone gets married, and every husband does this to his wife. But their wives don't cry like this. Learn to be patient and stop making a fuss over every little thing." "What did you say to the doctor and what did he say to my mother?" Amelia said softly. "I don't know anything. I just know that I can't live without you for 8 days. Henry yelled angrily. "Shut up now. You can make any excuse, do whatever you want, just come back home. I've been going crazy for 2 days. I can't sleep at night. I need you." Amelia hung up without a word. She was already struggling with her pain, and the wounds had barely healed. But now Henry was bothering her again. She decided not to pick up the phone. For several days, she didn't answer his calls. Sometimes, when she did, she would say she was busy and would talk later. 8 days passed like that. Henry's anger was uncontrollable. It was happening. But Amelia's mother had clearly told her that he wouldn't go to her parents' house to pick her up. 8 days later, Amelia returned home. Henry saw her, but didn't speak. He ate quietly, glanced at her furtively, and then went to his room. Amelia thought she would soon come to the room and convince him. As she moved toward the room, Gan's mother stopped her. "Daughter, I was so embarrassed. You should have told me everything earlier." Amelia's eyes welled up. "Mom, I had no idea about these things myself. I told Henry many times, but he wouldn't listen." Her mother said, "I've explained to him. I've scolded him a lot. He won't treat you like this again. But listen to me on one thing. Try to stay in the room for a while." Amelia bowed her head and said, "Okay, Mom, I'll do as you say." For a while, Amelia sat in the room, talking about casual conversation. Meanwhile, Henry was waiting impatiently for her. Finally, night fell. At 11 o'clock, Amelia arrived in the room. Henry was idling away on his laptop. As soon as he saw Amelia, he exploded in anger. "Close the door and lock it immediately." His voice and attitude alarmed Amelia. She slowly closed the door and locked it. She slowly moved to the other side of the bed and sat down. Henry angrily shut the laptop, slammed it on the table, and angrily said, "What value do I have in your eyes? What do you think of me?" Amelia replied, "Henry, you have great value in my eyes, and you should also value my feelings. I've been on medication for 8 days." Henry interrupted, taunting, "Don't make your mother read these strips to me. I've already heard a long lecture. Get out of here. You're not the only woman. Everyone's husbands live like this with their wives. But their wives don't sit around like wax dolls." With that, she adjusted the pillow. He turned angrily and lay down. Tears welled in Amelia's eyes. She mustered up the courage and came to Henry. As soon as he touched her, Henry jerked away, saying, "Step back. Don't touch me. Let me go and rest. I won't say anything after today." Amelia said, "Henry, please don't be angry with me." Henry taunted. "Does it matter to you?" Amelia said tearfully, "Yes, it matters a lot. Why wouldn't it? I love you. I'm your wife. If you lie down and turn your back on me." Hearing Amelia's words, Henry turned and looked at her. Smiling, but sharply, he said, "Then convince me. I'm your husband. If I don't come close to you, where will I go? Or should I go to another woman? Amelia, you're my wife. My passion, my desires, my love, all belong only to you. But if you refuse, you'll stop me. You'll make excuses. So all these things I've said are my own. You'll only increase his stubbornness. And when a man becomes stubborn, he sees no other point. Come here and convince me. Convince me in a way that will alleviate my anger. If you don't come, I'll come myself. But if I do, you'll have to go to the hospital again in the morning." Saying this, he stepped forward angrily and said, "I don't know how much money you paid the female doctor to teach my mother to say such things to keep me away from you. But that's not going to happen. I understand your tricks very well. You find excuses to stay away from your husband. I don't know to whom you want to show off this beauty." Hearing all this, Amelia's heart was torn apart. She was shattered from within. But when she closed her eyes and surrendered to him, the entire night would pass in intense restlessness. As soon as sleep came to her, he would shake her. He would press her cheek and say, "Why do you need to sleep? Look at me. Come with me." Amelia felt that her partner was completely heartless, unconcerned about a woman's suffering. But if Amelia refused even slightly, his stubbornness would only intensify. He wouldn't sleep himself, nor would he let Amelia sleep. His father owned a factory, so he would go to the office late every day. Sometimes at 10 o'clock, sometimes at 11 o'clock. He was so preoccupied with his work that he didn't care about anything else. That's why he stayed with Amelia late into the night. Within 15 days, Amelia began to weaken. Her complexion turned pale. Dark circles formed under her eyes from the lack of sleep. But Henry's desire and intensity remained unchanged. He remained healthy and perfect. He drank milk with dried fruits every night before bed and took care of himself in every way. But he told Amelia, "I don't like fat women at all. Always stay fit." Amelia stopped complaining and resigned herself to fate. She thought that as time passed, Henry would change after hearing the good news. The doctor had clearly stated that she needed to be very careful in the initial months, and that getting close to her husband could be risky. She was advised complete bed rest. Her condition was critical and required extreme care. When Henry received this news, he was furious. What a mess. Where did the baby come from? I'm not in that mood right now. I don't want children right now. I'll get an abortion tomorrow. Right now, I want to enjoy my married life. Hearing this, Amelia's face turned pale. She had hoped that Henry would be cautious once he found out about the child. After all, a child is a joy for everyone, and when a man finds out he's going to be a father, his thinking can change. But after listening to Henry's words, Amelia was at a loss for what to do. She said, "What are you saying? I told you I want a child and I have to follow the doctor's advice." He said, "Whose child is this? Isn't it mine? I don't want it. I'll take it when I want it. Do you think everything will happen because you say so?" Amelia asked, frightened. "If I lose my child, I might never be able to become a mother again. For God's sake, change your nature." Henry said angrily. "Don't ruin my feelings. I understand all your drama. You're just looking for excuses to stay away from me. Whenever you come near me, your face turns weird." "I don't get the response I want," Amelia said tearfully. "And what can I do? It's not even a month since we got married, and I haven't slept properly in this 1 month. And yet you think I don't respond?" Henry said, "Yes, I'm still not satisfied. I want peace. Love me with the same madness I love you. Forget all this baby stuff. We can both live a good life. When you come to me, go crazy. I want that same madness from you. The same madness I show you." Hearing all this, Amelia was terrified. There was a strange glint in her eyes that she herself couldn't understand. I didn't know what had happened to Henry. Amelia got up and left the room. She thought she should tell her mother-in-law everything. She told her to explain it to her son. She didn't want to lose her child. On one hand, the doctor's warnings were scaring her. On the other, Henry's words were breaking her. She didn't know what kind of comfort Henry needed. Amelia offered as much support as she could. But she had realized that the man in front of her was behaving like a beast. Amelia couldn't tolerate Henry's behavior. Sometimes he would bite her lips so hard that it would bleed. When Amelia pushed him back and asked, "What are you doing?" he would laugh and say, "That's the fun of it. You don't know how to live a married life. You're a completely boring girl." Henry felt only entitled to force and lust over Amelia, and Amelia couldn't bear it. Even then, she was crying, clutching her head. The doctor's words and Henry's attitude had both broken her to the core. She wanted to become a mother, but Henry's behavior had shattered her hopes. Just then, Henry's mother entered the room with fresh pomegranate juice. Seeing Amelia in this state, she said, "What's wrong, daughter? Do you have a headache? Let me squeeze it. Are you feeling well? If you need something hot or cold, tell me." Amelia took a deep breath and said, "No, Mom, I'm fine. I just felt a little dizzy." But her hands and feet had gone cold. Henry's words had shaken her to the core. She wanted to be happy for her child, but tears welled up in her eyes. She was about to tell her mother-in-law everything when Henry entered the room. Seeing him, Amelia froze in fear and backed away. Henry's mother's brow furrowed. He immediately consoled Amelia and said, "What happened, daughter? Why are you getting so nervous? It is not good for you to get scared in this condition. Do you remember what the doctor said?" Amelia was trying to control herself. Henry's mother looked angrily at Henry and said, "What did you say to your wife? Tell me, why is she so scared after seeing you? You know, right? She is going to be the mother of your child." She tried to explain with a smile. But Henry's face remained the same. Neither did his anger subside, nor did he soften even a little. He said, "So what should I do now? I have no desire to become a father right now. I just want to live my life comfortably. She's my wife. She was born for me. Who gave her the right to have children? She has no right to become a mother unless I want her to." With that, Henry's mother got up angrily and slapped Henry hard. Henry hadn't expected this slap. Henry's mother said angrily, "What nonsense are you talking? Is this how I raised you? Do you even care? Son, girls are lucky to experience the joy of becoming mothers immediately after marriage. Otherwise, don't you know how many women in your own family have been married for years, yet are still wandering from door to door in search of a child? And what tone are you using here? Children will bring peace and joy to your life." But Henry's mother had no idea that the peace Henry was looking for wasn't in children, but only in Amelia. She took a deep breath and fell silent. Henry glared at her angrily and said, "This is all you're doing, Amelia. Well done. Now turn my mother on your side too. You sit around all day inciting her against me. Women love their husbands so much, they keep the dust under their feet. And here you are, turning my mother against me." With that, Henry stormed out of the room, and Amelia ran after him. She said, "Henry, I didn't say anything to them. Please listen to me. Wait a minute." But Henry got in the car and drove off. Henry's mother grabbed Amelia, put her in her room, and said, "Let him go. I don't know what's going on in his mind. Just take care of your health." Amelia started crying again. She was afraid of how Henry would treat her when he returned in the middle of the night. Henry's mother tried to console her daughter-in-law. "Don't worry, my dear. He's my only son. We've all held him in high esteem. That's why he wants everything he wants. When you have a child in your arms, you'll see, he'll love him." Henry's mother told Amelia stories about Henry's childhood, which helped ease her mood. Refreshed, she began to think that perhaps Henry just needed some time to adjust to children. When Amelia's health improved, she cooked Henry's dinner with her own hands. That night, Henry was sitting at the dinner table. He didn't look at his mother or Amelia. Henry's mother had even apologized for slapping him. But Henry was ignoring Amelia as if she wasn't there. Despite this, Amelia was trying to keep herself happy for the sake of her child. That night, after finishing the kitchen chores, she heated milk for herself and Henry. Henry's mother drank tea before bed. So, after sending tea to her room, Amelia took the hot milk on a tray and headed for her own room. As she tried to push the door, she found it locked from inside. Amelia called out, "Henry, open the door. I've brought milk." At first, there was no response. Then, after repeated requests, Henry said, "So what can I do? I don't want to drink it." Amelia laughed and joked, "Hey, Mummy, look, Henry isn't opening the door." Hearing this, Henry angrily jumped out of bed and flung the door open. His mother-in-law wasn't there. Amelia burst out laughing and entered the room. But before she could say anything, Henry angrily grabbed her hand, shook it, and pushed her down. Amelia writhed in pain. Before she could scream, Henry gagged her and said, "Beware, if you utter a single word." Amelia was writhing in pain and pain. Tears were welling up in her eyes. But Henry pushed her away, saying, "Get out of this room. You don't want to stay here as my wife. You only want to be a childbearing machine and a fat woman. Then get out of my room. You have no place in my sight." The burning sensation from the milk spilled on her hands and stomach had barely subsided when she lost her balance and slammed into the front railing. A sharp pain gripped her stomach, and she screamed in agony. Her mother-in-law, who was in a light sleep, immediately woke up hearing Amelia's voice. Henry dragged Amelia into the room by her hand, threw her onto the bed, and said, "Beware, if you utter a single word in front of my mother, nothing will happen. Don't be so delicate that you die." Just then mother-in-law came into the room and said, "What happened, son? Are you all right?" Amelia was trying to control herself by holding her stomach so that Henry does not get any chance to complain. Henry quickly said, "Nothing, mother. Did you get up unnecessarily and come here?" "It was just a slight pain. I have given you medicine. You will be all right now." Mother-in-law looked at Amelia. Her face was turning red as if she was at the limit of patience. She came near her. While caressing her hair, she said, "Daughter, is there any problem? Tell me the truth. Are you feeling well? If you want, I can sleep here next to you." She was asking very lovingly. But Henry standing behind threatened her with a wink, saying not to say anything. Amelia said in a trembling voice, No, Mummy G, I am absolutely fine. You go away, you picked it up unnecessarily. I just felt dizzy and the glass of milk fell from my hand. If Henry applies ointment, I will be fine." Hearing this, mother-in-law left from there, but while leaving, she told Henry to apply medicine on Amelia's hand under her supervision. As soon as she went out of the room, Amelia's patience broke. Tears started flowing from her eyes. She said, "I'm in so much pain. Henry, please take me to the doctor. I'm in so much pain. Why do you do this to me? You don't care about me at all. I'm a living human being just like you. Don't you have any compassion for my condition? You say you love me and can't bear to be separated from me. But this behavior of yours isn't love. It's just a desire for beauty. You're only interested in my face and body. You don't care about me anymore." Hearing this, Henry put his hand on his forehead and said irritably, "Stop it now. What are you talking about? I married you. Isn't that enough? You've already started crying so much. Look here. Isn't it too much? Your hand is burned." Saying this, he sat down next to her and began applying medicine to her burned stomach, which had now turned red. Amelia lay with her eyes closed. The pain in her stomach was still sharp, as if something was cutting inside. She kept saying over and over again, "Henry, I'm in a lot of pain. Please take me to the doctor. I hope nothing happens." But hearing her out, Henry took a painkiller from the cupboard and forced it into her mouth, forcing water on her. Amelia continued to refuse. "No, Henry, this medicine is not to be taken in this condition. The doctor has forbidden it." But Henry forced the medicine on her and said, "The doctor is just making a scene. It's fine if they just pack the same medicines in a bag. But if you take any medicine from home, they start listing 100 disadvantages." After a while, the medicine took effect, and the pain subsided a little. Henry lay down beside her and said, "Now, be quiet. You're my wife. It's love that keeps you up all night. I love you. If I didn't love you, would I come to you like this? Many men distance themselves from their wives and remarry. You should be happy that your husband is smitten by your beauty." Hearing this, Amelia's heart sank. She understood. She realized Henry's desire wasn't love, but lust. She fell silent. Soon, Henry began to move closer to her again. Amelia said one last time, "Please, Henry, don't do this. The doctor forbids it. I'm in a lot of pain." But Henry held her face and said, "Darling, just this once, after tonight, I won't say anything. Just let me come to you for today. Despite the pain and fear, Amelia surrendered herself to him. Despite the doctor's instructions, Amelia surrendered herself to Henry. It was 2 a.m. Henry wouldn't stop. Amelia was completely exhausted. Then, panting, she slowly got up, saying, "Please, stop. I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm going to die." But Henry ignored her, continuing to say, "No, don't close your eyes. Look here. Come to me." Slowly, Amelia slipped into unconsciousness. Then, she let out a scream, so painful that it seemed her life was being taken away. "She will go." She was writhing in pain. Her screams were heard outside the room. Henry threatened Amelia, "Don't tell your mother anything." As soon as the door opened, Amelia got up in pain and tried to hug her, but fell down. Seeing her fall, her mother-in-law panicked. Seeing Amelia's condition, she had understood a lot. She couldn't even figure out how to make her son understand humanity. Amelia was immediately taken to the hospital. The doctor saw Amelia's condition and sat down, holding her head. He said, "She has been married to a monster or a devil. Humans don't do this. Look at this girl. It hasn't been a few weeks since their marriage, and this is her condition. It seems you married her to a man who treats women like mere flesh. He can chew them up whenever he wants and spit them out whenever he wants." Hearing the doctor's words, tears welled up in her mother-in-law's eyes. The atmosphere became even heavier. In fact, Amelia had never been with anyone in person before marriage. But he was human after all. She couldn't bear the torture she'd been subjected to. Upon hearing the news of Amelia's miscarriage, she burst into tears. Her health deteriorated, and her blood pressure plummeted. Meanwhile, her mother arrived. Her mother-in-law folded her hands and said, "Please, don't tell her. I'll handle everything." But when Amelia saw her mother in front of her, she couldn't help herself. She hugged her mother and told her everything. The brutality Henry displayed the previous night ruined everything. Returning home, his mother-in-law grabbed Henry by the collar and said, "I'm ashamed to call you son. I carried you in my womb for 9 months when you were a baby. Who would do something like you did?" But Henry immediately began to explain. "Mom is lying. She doesn't want to be a mother herself. She's deliberately faking it." The mother-in-law punched her son in the chest and said, "Don't lie. She's in my presence 24 hours a day. I know her habits well. This is all you're doing. You're the unlucky one who ruined an innocent girl's life. Now be happy. By humiliating your mother, you'll never be a father again." Henry felt a little embarrassed by his mother's scolding, but he still tried to defend himself. Eventually, Amelia's mother took her home with her. It took a long time for Amelia to recover. Amelia stayed at her parents' house for nearly a month. During this time, she didn't speak to Henry even once. Her mother-in-law tried several times to talk to her son, but to no avail. Crying, Henry came to her and said, "Mom, I've really changed. Do you know what shocked me? Today I realized what a huge mistake I made. I lost my own child. Today, my friend was happily announcing that he was going to be a father. He bought tiny clothes for his baby. He was talking so happily, and I just stared at his face. Mom, I'm so ashamed. Tell me, what should I do now? I did a terrible wrong to Amelia, but I want to make amends." With that, he hugged his mother and burst into tears. She embraced him back. The next day, the mother and son arrived at Amelia's house to pick her up. Amelia was sitting silently in a corner. She was now afraid of Henry. Her mother-in-law consoled her. "Daughter, Henry has truly changed. He's admitted his mistake. He won't do anything wrong to you anymore. Come back with us." Amelia watched them silently and then went into her room. It was clear in her mind that she wouldn't go back. Just then, her mother came back and said, "Daughter, whatever decision you make, think carefully. Remember, in the society we live in, if a girl initiates divorce, people taunt even her parents and siblings. Even if a man grants a divorce, the woman is disgraced. But if a woman herself asks for a separation, society doesn't let her live." Amelia bowed her head and sat down. She wanted to break up with this man forever. After all, he had left only scars on her body and mind. But after listening to her mother and mother-in-law, she decided to give her husband one last chance. For her mother-in-law's sake, she returned home with Henry. Fear still lingered in her heart. She felt like Henry would do the same things he used to do. Sitting in the room, Amelia thought, if he does anything like he did before today, I won't stay quiet. She was filled with anger and pain. Just then, Henry entered the room. He saw Amelia sitting quietly and sat next to her, holding her hand. He placed his hand on his lips and said, I know I did you a lot of wrong. But now I regret it. You used to say I didn't love you. Today I'm realizing I love you very much. When you left me, I thought my world had ended. Now I'll give you all the happiness you deserve. Amelia couldn't believe Henry was saying all this. Henry said, come on, get ready quickly. We'll go out for dinner today. We'll take a long drive and I'll take you shopping. Amelia initially refused, but after Henry's repeated insistence, she agreed. At first, she thought it was just to make her happy for a day. But gradually, it became a daily routine. Henry would often bring Amelia gifts and take her out. Amelia, too, was slowly changing her behavior and began to improve herself to give him one last chance. During this time, Henry never tried to get close to Amelia. But sometimes, at night, while she was sleeping, he would touch her with his hand. Amelia would immediately wake up and move away. Henry had tried hard to change himself, and he had, to some extent. But gradually, his old habits began to resurface. His mind constantly tempted him to do something to Amelia so that she would forgive him. At the same time, Henry's desire for a child began to awaken. When he saw his friends and relatives sharing the good news of their child, he felt a deep jealousy. One day, when he came home, he held Amelia's hand and said, Amelia, I think you're better now. I've realized my mistake. I want you to be the mother of my child. Hearing this, Amelia's face changed. She said, you're too late. The doctor said I can never become a mother. Now I'm just a useful thing for you. Don't expect me to be a mother. Henry's face fell. She said, no, that's not possible. I want a child. Just get yourself treated. Do anything, but give me a child. At this point, Henry didn't stop, even after seeing Amelia's condition. Sometimes he would insult her for having a child, sometimes he would demand one at all costs. He took Amelia to the doctor again, but the doctor said Amelia couldn't conceive again. Hearing this, Henry remained silent for a few days. But gradually, his behavior began to change. He would fight with Amelia over every little thing, taunting her for being infertile, and even raising his hand. Henry's mother, exhausted by the noise and stress in the house, became bedridden. The servants cared for her, and she rarely left her room. One day, Henry came home and said, I'm going to remarry. I can't live with a barren woman like you. Amelia's anger erupted. She said, keep your mouth shut. It's because of you that I'm in this condition. Otherwise, I was perfectly healthy. You should be ashamed. I lost everything for you. Today, in a fit of rage, Henry divorced Amelia on the spot. He said, get lost. In my eyes, I'm going to marry someone who will be even more beautiful and educated than you and will give me an heir. As soon as Henry's mother heard this, she suffered a heart attack. Amelia ran away crying to her parents. After his mother's death, Henry, with the help of a friend, found a new match for her. She was educated and a model. 3 months later, Henry married her and brought her home. The same things happened there as with Amelia. But this girl was very cunning and shrewd. Using excuses, she gradually took over Henry's house and property. For months after their marriage, his wife became pregnant. Henry was overjoyed. He said, you must give me an heir. But 5 months later, a checkup revealed that she was pregnant with twin daughters. Henry became furious after hearing the news about his daughters. When he got home, he started beating her with a belt, saying, I told you to have a son. Where did these daughters come from? His wife was refusing to take the medicine, but Henry forced her to have the drugs and made them abort their daughters. At first, this pain drove her to tears, but now she too began to contemplate revenge. Every night, she would attack Henry, just as Henry had attacked his wife. But gradually, Henry's health began to deteriorate. Often, he would fall asleep as soon as he got home, saying, "I don't feel like coming to you today." Henry tried every day to romance his wife, but this desire was fading away. At one point, he became completely weak and a skeleton. Meanwhile, his wife had become more beautiful and attractive than ever. Seeing his condition, Henry would often scream and cry. He used to be a model, but why had his condition deteriorated so drastically in just a few months? He couldn't understand. One day, he was sitting in a wheelchair, thinking. A week earlier, he had met with an accident while returning from work. He had been a victim of rape and had broken his legs. His wife sat on the floor, placing her hand on his chest and buttoning his collar. "This is your punishment for all the pleasures you indulged in all night. For the cruelty you inflicted on me and your first wife, who tolerated you. She ruined the lives of 2 innocent children and tried to kill them. This is the punishment you will receive for the rest of your life. I will not call you a man, nor will I call you one, because this is what monsters like you deserve." Saying this, she stormed out. Henry fell from the wheelchair and screamed. This was unbearable for him. He couldn't bear it. But this was what was destined for him. He had only considered women to be objects of his needs. A year later, proposals began pouring in for Amelia. Piyush, a friend of Amelia's who had immigrated from a foreign country, had been in love with Amelia since childhood. The news of Amelia's divorce shattered him deeply. When he learned of Amelia's divorce, he came to India and sent his mother and elder sister to arrange a marriage with Amelia. Amelia initially refused, but when he kept pressuring her, she decided to meet Piyush. For Piyush, Amelia was still the same as before. After meeting Piyush, she slowly told him the whole truth and also that she could never become a mother. Despite this, Piyush accepted her. He married her only for the sake of his mother. Amelia thought that other men would also be like Henry. But the way Piyush gave her respect and love was like a dream for Amelia. After 8 months of marriage, Amelia suddenly fell ill. Piyush immediately came home and took her to the doctor. The doctor told that Amelia was going to become a mother. Amelia was shocked. He asked, "How is that possible?" The doctor explained, "Sometimes the results are wrong, but you're not completely devoid of the ability to become a mother." Hearing this, Amelia smiled, took her husband's hand, and said, "Everything is fine now. Thank you, this lesson. Never try to oppress or control anyone. Because karma always comes back to haunt you. Love and respect strengthen relationships. A person's goodness never goes in vain. At the right time, it returns and brings happiness into your life." Friends, I hope this story touched you. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it. Share it with your friends and share your opinion by commenting below. Subscribe to our channel for more such interesting and emotional stories. We'll meet again with a new story.